welcome to another episode of the Theater Professor Vidcast. My name is Terry Danich-Kimiak II, and I am the Theater Professor. And this is what happens when you're in a family of people who love art. Downstairs right now, my 3-year-old daughter is doing watercolor in the play area of our basement. I just looked at her and I was like, oh, that's adorable. I think I need to do a tutorial. So while she is doing real-world natural media watercolor, I'm going to show you a couple more tools from Paintstorm Studio. I want to thank everybody that's been checking out these videos. Remember, Paintstorm Studio is still fairly new to me. I am still learning a lot of these things. So some of the things I might record, and later on I'll tell you, oh my gosh, I was totally off on that. That was totally wrong. So I apologize for that. But these are, the program's fairly new, constantly getting updates. So I really want to say a big, huge thank you to the makers of Paintstorm Studio, because you guys have been wonderful at keeping this up to date as you've released it to the public. Last week we talked about a couple of paint brushes. We're going to talk about a couple more. I went and tried to do a little research, and I couldn't find names for each of these brushes. They're just images, which is fine. The next one we're going to look at is what I'm looking at is the roller brush. It looks like a roller that you would roll your walls in your house as you're painting. And we're also definitely going to look at this next one, which is a blender of sorts. Blends in a variety of ways, but it's not the actual blender. So the third one that if we get to there is an actual blender. So this is where it becomes a little, because they don't have names, I'm making up my own names for them as I bump my microphone. Hello, microphone. All right, let's start with the roller. Looks like we got 5 in here, and they're mowing the lawn outside, so that's good. The first one, just a roller brush, and we're going to grab a couple. I like that color. So this is what the roller brush looks like. The lighter I press down, obviously the less paint, the harder I press down. You can see there is a texture to it, like there would be if you were using a roller on the wall and you're pressing hard. This could be useful for a nice sketch brush if you're doing quick sketches of something. Blocking in paint. It runs really nice. Right now I've got to put down a decent amount of pressure to get color in, which is not huge. And the side of the width of the roller changes direction based on how my stylus is on my pad. So it's not bad. It's not bad. Found a new trick. Somebody mentioned this. If you do Control-A and then delete, what that does is the Control-A selects all. This is on PC. It's probably Command-A on a Mac. Control-A selects everything, and then the delete button clears your screen. So if you remember one of the earlier videos, it didn't have like a clear layer. Well, found a way to do clear layer, so I like it. So that was the roller brush 1. This is called Roller Simple. Whoa, really big. One of the things you'll see me do oftentimes is change the size of my brush. I'm holding down Alt and Control and moving my stylus left to make it smaller and right to make it bigger. This has some nice texture on the outside. It's got that almost charcoal-y feel to it. Pastel. Again, if you were, blocking out color, obviously these are not drawing tools, these are painting tools, but if you're blocking out color, looks like once the color's down, every time I go over top of it, even if I'm pressing lightly, it just continues to add color. Whereas if you grab the roller brush 1, if I put down a dark color like this and then go over the top, it actually makes it lighter if I'm pressing lighter. So there's a bit more opacity to that one and less opacity to the roller simple. So something to note. Okay. Third one we've got is roller brush 2. Whoa, cool texture. Look at that. That's nice. And the lighter I press, it's under the roller brush, but I don't know. It feels almost paintbrushy to me. Really like the texture. This could really feel like you were using acrylics or oils. Let me go ahead and clear the screen and make it a little smaller. little bit of cross hatching. You could create some really nice backgrounds, like if you do any type of work where you need some abstract like backgrounds. This would work really nice. Okay, and you see all the individual brush strokes. Change of color. So this goes over top. It doesn't really mix. If I press light, yeah, this just goes over top. So that's something to note on each of these. If we go back to the roller simple, let's toss down some of this green and grab another color. This actually mixes a little better if I don't press hard. As soon as I press hard, we start to cover. And if we go back to roller brush 1, lay down a color and grab another color. That one's too close. Let's grab this color. This one actually mixes really well. Okay, so some really nice mixing properties with that. Look at that green. That's pretty. Okay. And number 4 is called Roller Brush Mouse. Okay, nice texture. I really like the texture of this one. I hate the fact that it doesn't, and we can change this. I hate the fact that it's just flat both sides. If I wanted to change that, I could actually easily do it by popping up this and changing this. So, let's make this bigger. Oh, excuse me. Let's see what this does. What I have to adjust it in there. I'm a silly rabbit. So let me close that. Come over here and let's look at not the jitter. I like to jitter it. That's an interesting transition. Actually, what we could do, oh, I see, because we've got a flat head. If I go to circle, a little bit rounded on the ends now, rather than so. Yeah, see, nice. Again, I like the texture of this one. I mean, you could keep it with the custom form that they have if you like square brushes. And this is me pressing lightly. This is a light press. And then if I come back in, change my color. So some unique things going on with this one. I'm gonna have to play with it. I kind of like it. There are some things I like about that brush. It is a nice brush. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play with that one. Okay, and again, that's roller brush mouse, and then we finish up with the rainbow roller. In the roller brush section, we can almost guess what's going to happen here. We get a rainbow of fruit flavors. So the harder you press, the more vibrant. So this is a light press. This is a hard press. So that's cool, and it's using a custom form here. I bet, let's see. Yep, under color. And the way you do this, under color, it's got this gradient that's being used. So if I were to come in here, oops, I changed the gradient by accident, but now we have a different gradient. Okay, so if you change the gradient, that's how you're getting these different colors. I don't know what I'd ever use that for. Maybe an actual rainbow. Yay! I would need clouds though then, right? All right, so those are the roller brushes. Some really nice pieces up there. Again, I kind of like this last one here is nice. Especially if you're doing a lot of small pieces. And I like roller brush 2. I like the texture in it. Those are probably my 2 favorites. The other ones are nice. This one's, oh, you know what? We could turn this into clouds. So now we have our clouds, except I have no sky background, so it just kind of, there we go. Let's clear that screen. All right, next up we've got, so as we can see, this simple, darker, soft multiply. This does different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down some color. I'm just going to use a paintbrush. Any old brush will do. We'll grab this one, make it bigger. Pick a color that's not white.
Okay, I'm doing that.
And then we will go back here. So let's start with simple darker. Doesn't seem to do anything. Oh, sorry about that noise. That was my daughter. Okay, soft multiply. Oh, you know what? Let me try a different color. Simple darker. Okay. Nah. I don't see it, but that's neither here nor there. Let's try soft multiply. Okay, now that's kind of cool. This is using the multiply effect, which darkens. You can see on the outside it's green. Where it goes over, it goes kind of essentially black. Here's a hard multiply, which would be the same thing, only with the hard edge would be my guess. Yes. And you can actually build up layers here. See that? Okay. Next up we have blend multiply. Let's see what this looks like. I'm going to toss some red in here. I'm going over top of the red, so it builds up. So if you can see, it's layering on top of each other, multiplying and you know, if I keep going over the same spot over and over, see how it goes essentially black, which is not something you would do often. You know, that's not a, or at least that's not a technique that I would use. We've got simple color burn. Burn. You done been burned. Let me take down some green. Goes over again. This is layering up top. And, you know, burn and multiply and all those things can be found in Photoshop under the layers as well as over here. So our layer is normal. They're all right in here. So multiply is part of the darken group. Darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, darken, color. So all of those are right there. And you can see they're doing it. It's as if I did a regular one and did multiple layers. So if I was using a regular brush and did multiple layers on top of each other, and the way that's changed is over here in the brush settings, this is multiply. So you can see by switching the blend mode up here. So this, like I said, this is color, we've chosen simple color burn here. And you can change that. So if we were to come over here, we're going to go back to color burn, obviously. But I could go to screen, for example. And now I'm screening over top of this and making it lighter. Okay. So we'll go back to color burn because that's what this is. Next up, we have Saturator. So if I were to take, for example, let's grab a kind of a light color and lay it down. Grab my Saturator. Oh, and it doesn't. Well, you know, sometimes you think one thing's going to happen. Oh, look at that. It painted underneath it. So it chooses the most well, no, because then it would be covering. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure how I'd use this brush. This is one that I've never seen a saturator brush before. Let me try. Maybe if I go different color, what happens then? No, it stays underneath. Interesting. Okay, so now I'm going. Oh, that just took out the saturation. So if I were to come over to here and removes the saturation completely, because they were already saturated, that's why we weren't seeing a change. Okay, so I've just taken out the saturation completely. If we come over and bring red back in, it does all sorts of fun. I'm going to have to play with this brush because it looks like you can do some fun things with it. So yeah, so that's Saturator. Next up we have Color. Change the color to green. Change the color to blue. So it essentially changes the color of what you already have down, as you can see, which is what I'm doing each time I go over. It gets a little darker, but we can see that. And here we are with the watercolor. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it's a layer, so it layers like watercolor. That's what I was expecting to happen. Now the problem with this is the edging doesn't really look like watercolor. Now it looks like as you go in, you can kind of push things around. Let me see if I grab a different color. Yeah, I mean, it kind of replicates it. It's more of a digital watercolor feel than a real watercolor feel. And then finally you have finger. So what it does is it's like pushing your finger across paint. So you can see here. Boom, boom, boom. So if we were, let's go ahead, excuse me, select all of that, clear it off. If we were, if we were to use these two tools, grab maybe your, this one right here. And let's do, here we go. Just throwing down some robot legs. Let's see what we got going here. Just want to focus on the legs right now, but I want to give myself a waist up there. So again, I'm just doing this only. This is only the roller right now. Just kind of. It is very loud in my house sometimes. I don't like how the right leg turned out. Come in and bring in my eraser a little bit. I'm gonna just erase some of this edging and come back in. Wasn't happy with that. There we go. That's better. So that's that. We could come in here and maybe, I'm going to grab, actually I went the wrong way. There we go. I don't like how that one blends. That one doesn't blend that well. What about this one? Does this one, I'm trying to remember. That's better. Maybe grab. Then we could come in here if we wanted to. We could do maybe a soft multiply to kind of darken areas. Don't like that. I went too dark on that, so I'm going to bring that back a little bit. Maybe a blend multiply. Too dark again. So let's pull my color up. Maybe this is what I want. There we go. And again, this is just blocking in some of the shapes. Adjusting his feet a little bit. Okay, so you can see these can be used, very similar to how you would use a paintbrush. I'm really getting a kick out of these rollers right now because I think they're, oops, that's the wrong color. I think these are really, I love the texture. Definitely thinking about maybe doing an art piece using this and creating something out of it because I really like the texture that it creates. You know what I mean? There we go. That's what it is. This, I think we've gone to. There we go. So we get some robot legs going. Could be regular human legs, but I like the idea that they're robot legs because I like robots. Cybermen, maybe. Delete. There we go. All right. Well, that's it for this week. I don't think we're gonna hold off on getting to the blenders, and we'll bring the blenders in our next episode. And so what we've looked at today is we've looked at these multipliers and saturators, watercolors, along with the roller brushes. Some really nice tools. Next week we'll look at the blenders and erasers, and then we will wait till we get to the light stuff. That stuff's really exciting. So I've got about 3 more weeks of working with the brushes, and we can see what we come up with. And yeah, I'm kind of excited right now. The program keeps impressing me. You know, I didn't think it could. I thought it's a good program. I'll probably use it for some things, but I didn't know if it'd be something that I would continuously use. You know, because I've got so many good programs, and this one actually is turning. Surprisingly enough, is turning out really nice. So. If you're watching this on YouTube, fabulous. Make sure you subscribe. If you're watching this as a member of the Theater Professor website, thank you guys so much for your support. And if you're an artist member or if you are a patron member, huge thanks to both those groups. You guys are what keep me going as I do all this and create these tutorials. I know I say that a lot, but you know, it's true. You guys are the reason behind this. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. All right, that's it for this week. My name is Terry Danich-Kamiak II, and I am the Theater Professor, and we will see you next week with our next Paint Studio tutorial. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care.